At 58, I walked into a store to pick up a birthday gift for my granddaughter. The cashier smiled politely and asked, "Senior discount today?" I wasn't even shopping for myself. My heart sank. It wasn't the first time. People were constantly treating me like I was 10 years older than I really was. And I couldn't blame them. I looked tired, worn down, older. But inside, I still felt sharp, full of life, and nowhere near senior. One night, I stood in the mirror, really looking at myself. The lines, the sagging, the dull skin. I had spent years using the right creams and taking the right supplements, but I wasn't seeing results. That night, I decided something had to change. I dove into research. I looked at skincare, sleep science, posture habits, and everything in between. And slowly, I realized it wasn't about what I wasn't doing. It was about 6 little things I did every day without thinking, habits that were making me look older than I felt. I stopped all 6. Within weeks, people started asking if I'd had a procedure. I hadn't spent a dime. My own daughter said, "Mom, what did you do?" Now I'm sharing those 6 habits. Let's start right now, because it's never too late to look as young as you feel. There's one habit I was doing every single night, something my grandmother used to warn me about, and I always thought it was just an old wives' tale. But it turns out she was right. That one habit was literally carving deep lines into my face while I slept, and when I finally stopped, the change was almost overnight. I'll tell you exactly what it is, but first, the last habit shocked me the most. It was something I did every day, even felt proud of doing. Doctors recommend it, my friends do it, but it was secretly aging my neck and jawline faster than time itself. Once I saw the damage in side-by-side photos, I couldn't unsee it. You're probably doing it right now without even realizing it. For the past 2 years, I've made it my mission to study what really works for women over 50. Not beauty fads, not 20-something advice, but real changes that make a real difference. What I discovered completely shifted how I treat my skin, my body, and how I think about aging. These 6 habits were slowly aging me from the outside in. Now that I've broken them, I feel like I've taken control back. And so can you, if you know what to stop. Hi, I'm Lisa. When I turned 50, something strange started happening. I'd walk into a room and feel invisible, not because of my age, but because I looked tired, older than I felt. I was still active, still curious, still full of life. But my reflection didn't match that feeling. It was like my energy was being hidden behind dull skin and deep lines. I tried everything the magazines and beauty experts told me, expensive creams, collagen powders, even monthly facials. I followed all the rules. But while my friends seemed to be aging gracefully, I was aging fast. I felt like I was doing all the right things and getting the worst results. And the worst part? No one could explain why. That's when I decided to dig deeper. I stopped listening to trendy advice and started researching habits, skin biology, and real solutions for mature women like me. What I found shocked me. The problem wasn't what I was missing, it was what I was doing every day without thinking. 6 tiny habits, repeated daily, that were quietly aging me. When I finally stopped those habits, people noticed. My adult kids even asked if I'd had work done. I hadn't. I'd just stopped letting my routines age me. Now I want to help you do the same. Habit 1. Using hot water on your face. It was a cold winter morning. I turned on the tap and let the hot water run over my hands before splashing it on my face. It felt good, comforting. I had been doing this for years. Every morning, every night. I thought it was helping me feel clean, refreshed, awake. But one day, something changed. I looked in the mirror and noticed the skin around my eyes looked thinner, drier, and the fine lines around my cheeks seemed deeper, more pronounced. I hadn't changed my skincare products, so I couldn't figure out what was going wrong. That night, while reading an article on mature skin, one line stopped me cold. Hot water strips the natural oils from aging skin, making it dry, dull, and more wrinkled. I blinked, then read it again. Was my favorite skincare ritual actually aging me? I kept digging and found that after age 50, our skin produces fewer natural oils. Our protective skin barrier becomes weaker. Hot water doesn't just clean, it strips. It takes away the little moisture we have left, leaving the skin more vulnerable. It's like pulling the stuffing out of a pillow. Your skin looks flat, fragile, and tired. I suddenly remembered how tight my skin felt after washing. That tightness I thought meant clean was actually a sign of damage. I had mistaken discomfort for effectiveness. I felt frustrated and a little foolish. I had been sabotaging myself with a simple act I thought was helpful. The next day, I made one small change. I turned the tap to lukewarm. Not freezing, not cold, just gentle. I patted my face dry instead of rubbing. No rough towels, no scrubbing, just kindness. It felt too easy to work, but something amazing happened. By the third day, the dry patches on my cheeks were gone. My skin felt softer when I woke up. After a week, my makeup went on smoother. And best of all, that dull, paper-like texture was slowly fading. I hadn't added any new products. I had just stopped using hot water. We all want that clean, fresh feeling, especially when we're older and our skin doesn't bounce back like it used to. But clean doesn't have to mean harsh. Mature skin needs care, not shock. And once I stopped shocking my face with hot water, my skin started healing itself. So if you've been wondering why your creams don't seem to work, or why your face feels tight even after moisturizing, look at your water. That comforting steam might be costing you more than you realize. Try switching to lukewarm water for 1 week. Just one. You might be surprised how quickly your skin says thank you, because sometimes the smallest changes make the biggest difference, especially after 50. Habit 2. Sleeping on cotton pillowcases. It started one morning when I looked in the mirror and saw deep creases running down the side of my face. I'd just woken up, and those pillow lines didn't fade like they used to. I went about my day, hoping they'd disappear, but they didn't, not completely. They lingered like a reminder that something had changed. Back in my 30s, pillow marks vanished in minutes, but now, in my late 50s, they stuck around for hours. Some even seemed permanent, like the skin had finally given up trying to bounce back. I blamed aging. I thought, well, that's just what happens, right? But then I read something that changed everything. I was scrolling online and found a small note in a skincare article. Cotton pillowcases cause friction that leads to wrinkles in mature skin. I paused. Cotton? The material I'd slept on my whole life? I kept reading. Turns out, cotton isn't just soft. It pulls and tugs at skin as we move during sleep. That tiny bit of friction, night after night, adds up. That same day, I grabbed my phone and ordered a silk pillowcase. Just one. I wasn't sure I believed it would work. It felt silly. How could changing my pillowcase make any real difference? But I figured, what did I have to lose? The first night sleeping on silk felt strange. It was smooth, slippery even. But by morning, something was different. My face didn't feel as dry. The lines were still there, but not as deep. After a week, I noticed something more important. The crease along my left cheek, the one that usually stuck around until lunch, was almost gone by breakfast. Silk and satin pillowcases don't pull at your skin like cotton. They let your face glide instead of stick. And for skin that's already losing elasticity, that glide matters more than we realize. It's the difference between waking up looking refreshed or like you've been in a wrestling match with your pillow. I also noticed something else. My hair was less frizzy in the morning. No more waking up with that wild bird's nest look. I hadn't even thought about that benefit. It was like getting a bonus prize for taking care of my skin. It made me realize how often we overlook the small things that slowly wear us down, quiet, invisible habits that become visible damage over time. A cotton pillowcase doesn't sound harmful, but over the years, it shapes your face more than you think. So, if you've been waking up with lines that last all morning, it might not be your age, it might be your pillow. You don't need surgery or a miracle cream. Sometimes you just need to swap fabric. Try it just for a week. One silk pillowcase. Your skin might breathe a sigh of relief, and you'll wake up looking like you actually slept. Habit 3. Over-moisturizing at night. I used to think I was doing everything right at night. After cleansing my face, I'd slather on a thick layer of moisturizer, sometimes two. The richer, the better. I believed that the more I used, the more it would help my skin look smooth and youthful by morning. But after a while, something strange happened. My skin didn't look better. It looked dull, heavy, greasy in some places, dry in others. My pores looked larger, and I started noticing tiny bumps that weren't there before. I thought maybe it was age, or maybe I needed more moisture. So I added night masks, oils, serums under creams. It only got worse. I felt confused. I was doing what every beauty article said: hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. So why was my skin rebelling? Why did it look tired and puffy in the morning, not refreshed? I started to feel a little defeated, like maybe nothing would work for me anymore. Then I came across something surprising. Over-moisturizing can actually hurt your skin. When we apply too much heavy cream, especially on mature skin, we can overwhelm it. The skin becomes dependent, lazy even. It stops making its own moisture and natural oils. And worse, those thick creams can trap dead skin cells and clog pores. That hit me hard. I'd been suffocating my skin without realizing it. I thought I was nourishing it, but I was just covering it up and weakening its ability to care for itself. It was like putting a heavy coat on someone who needed to breathe. So I changed things. I scaled back. I started using just a small amount of moisturizer, lightweight, with ingredients like ceramides and peptides, and focused more on hydration from serums. I found a hyaluronic acid serum that soaked in beautifully and then sealed it with a thin layer of cream. No more masks, no more piling it on. The results surprised me. Within 2 weeks, my skin started to feel smoother, not slick or greasy, just balanced. The tiny bumps around my chin disappeared. My skin tone looked more even, and best of all, I noticed a natural glow that hadn't been there in months. It looked alive, not smothered. We often believe more is better, but with mature skin, smarter is better. It's not about coating your face in thick layers. It's about supporting your skin's own rhythm. Mature skin can still heal and thrive, but it needs the right environment, not a heavy blanket. So if your skin feels heavy, puffy, or dull, despite all your night creams, take a step back. Try less. Give your skin space to breathe and reset. You might find that a little restraint goes a long way, and your skin will thank you with radiance, not rebellion. Sometimes the best care is knowing when to stop. Habit 4. Sleeping on your stomach side. I didn't think much about how I slept. After all, it was just sleep, right? What harm could it do if I curled up on my side or flopped onto my stomach? It was the only way I felt comfortable, wrapped in blankets, face pressed into the pillow, safe, cozy, familiar. But one morning, I noticed something new, a deep line across my cheek. It didn't fade like a pillow crease usually did. It stayed there, etched like a memory my skin refused to forget. I brushed it off. But the next week, another one appeared. Then another, always on the same side of my face. I started looking in the mirror differently. The left side of my face looked softer, puffier, maybe even droopier. My eyes weren't symmetrical anymore. My cheek looked slightly flatter. I didn't want to believe it, but I couldn't ignore it. Something was changing, and it wasn't just time. I did some digging. And there it was, plain as day. Sleeping on your stomach or side presses your face into the pillow for hours every night. Over time, that pressure folds the skin, slows circulation, and breaks down collagen. Those sleep lines, they can turn into real wrinkles, permanent ones. I felt stunned. I'd spent so much on creams, serums, facials, and yet every night I was undoing it all just by the way I slept. I had been aging my face without even realizing it. My nightly habit had become my skin's silent enemy. Changing it wasn't easy. I tried to sleep on my back, but it felt strange. I'd wake up sideways again, like my body had a mind of its own. But I didn't give up. I put a pillow under my knees to keep my spine aligned. I even used a small rolled towel under my neck for comfort. Slowly, my body started adjusting. After a few weeks, the difference was clear. My face looked more even. The puffiness faded. My skin felt firmer in the morning, not squashed or swollen. I wasn't creating new wrinkles while I slept. I was finally giving my skin a break. And the best part? My sleep improved too. Sleeping on my back opened up my breathing. I woke up feeling more rested, more alert. I couldn't believe how much this one change, something I'd never even questioned, had impacted not only my appearance, but my energy. We often focus on what we do during the day to stay young, but the real secret might lie in how we rest at night. The wrong sleeping position ages us quietly, invisibly, but the right one can protect us, heal us. So, if you're starting to see uneven lines or wondering why one side of your face looks older, look at how you sleep. It might not feel natural at first, but give it time. Your skin will thank you. Sometimes the smallest changes lead to the biggest results. Habit 5. Pursing your lips. Throughout the day, I never thought something so small could change how I looked. I mean, pursing my lips? It's just a habit, right? Like humming while thinking or tapping your pen when bored. But one day, standing in the elevator, I caught my reflection. My lips were pressed tightly together, not relaxed, not smiling, just tense. That moment stuck with me. I began noticing it more when I scrolled through emails, when I concentrated at work, even while watching TV. My lips would tighten, pressing inward or downward, like I was constantly annoyed or deep in thought. It became clear. I was doing it all the time. Then came the real shock. One morning, applying lip balm, I saw faint vertical lines above my upper lip. They hadn't been there last year. My lipstick started bleeding into those tiny creases. I suddenly understood why older people had those lines, even if they'd never smoked. It wasn't always cigarettes. Sometimes it was just years of tiny, repeated movements. I went down the rabbit hole of research. Dermatologists call them dynamic wrinkles, caused by repeated facial expressions. And guess what? Pursed lips are one of the biggest culprits. Over time, the skin loses elasticity, and those little movements start to leave permanent marks. What surprised me most was how emotional this habit was. I realized I pursed my lips when I felt stressed, when I held back emotions, or when I was trying to stay in control. It wasn't just a physical reflex. It was a mirror of what I was feeling inside. My face was holding tension that my words never expressed. So I started to train myself. Every time I caught my lips tightening, I gently relaxed them. I took a slow breath. Sometimes I'd even smile slightly, just to change the pattern. It wasn't easy, but I treated it like a workout for my face, like stretching out the stress that had taken root over the years. I also added a simple facial massage at night, using my fingers to smooth out the area above my lips. It felt comforting, like I was slowly ironing out all that bottled up tension, all those years I hadn't even noticed my face holding on so tight. After a few weeks, I saw progress. The lines softened. My mouth looked more relaxed. Even my jaw tension eased. But more than that, I felt different. I was calmer, more aware of how I carried stress. Changing my lips changed something deeper in me. We often think aging is about time, but it's also about repetition. The things we do 100 times a day, smiling, frowning, or pursing, shape our faces over years. Tiny habits become permanent stories written in our skin. So, if you're someone who always seems serious or feels that your lips are never at ease, take a moment. Let your face soften. Let your mouth rest. Sometimes the first step to aging well is learning to let go. Habit 6. Looking down to read. Books, phone, papers. It started so slowly, she didn't even notice. A few extra lines on her neck, a slight fold under her chin. I guess that's just aging, Mia muttered one morning as she brushed her teeth. But something about it bothered her. She wasn't even 40 yet. Later that week, she sat on the couch scrolling through her phone for what felt like hours. News, texts, Instagram. Her head tilted down, neck bent, eyes locked on the glowing screen. Her daughter walked by and said, "Mom, you always look so serious when you're on your phone." That made Mia pause. The next morning, Mia stared in the mirror longer than usual. She tilted her chin up, and there it was. Faint horizontal lines on her neck, a soft pouch under her chin, and the realization hit her. It wasn't just time doing this to her, it was habit. She dug into research and found it had a name, tech neck. Constantly looking down at phones, books, laptops, creates repetitive strain on the neck and lower face. Gravity pulls the skin forward. Over time, it stretches, folds, and sags. Even young people are getting early signs of aging because of it. Mia felt frustrated. No one warned her that simple, everyday movements could change how she looked. Not with wrinkles earned from laughter or sun-kissed days, but from mindless scrolling and unread emails. She wasn't just losing time to her phone, she was losing her posture, her shape. Determined, Mia made small changes. She propped her phone at eye level using a simple stand. She started reading books with a pillow behind her back and the pages raised. Even at work, she stacked books under her laptop to avoid bending her neck all day. It felt strange at first, but empowering. She also added a gentle neck massage to her routine and began stretching her neck muscles every morning. Just a few minutes of tilting her head side to side, looking up to the ceiling and holding the stretch. It reminded her to lift her gaze, not just physically, but mentally too. Weeks passed. Her neck looked smoother. The sag under her chin didn't vanish, but it softened. More importantly, Mia felt more present, less buried in her phone, more aware of the world around her. She even caught herself smiling more because her face wasn't constantly pointed down anymore. Mia realized something powerful. Aging doesn't just happen with years, it happens with repetition. The way we sit, the way we hold our heads, the angle of our eyes, it all adds up. And we have more control than we think. So if you're reading this with your head tilted down, pause, raise your chin, straighten your back, because changing how you look can start with how you look at the world. Sometimes lifting your gaze is the first step to lifting your life. We've come a long way, haven't we? It started with small habits, hot water splashing our faces, the comfort of cotton pillowcases, heavy creams at night. Then we dug deeper, how we sleep, how we purse our lips without thinking, and how looking down too often shapes not just our necks, but our lives. Each habit seemed innocent, but together they quietly changed how we age. But now we know better. These weren't flaws, they were lessons. And with every one we uncovered, we found power. We found out that beauty isn't just about lotions or lighting, it's about awareness, about how we treat ourselves when no one's watching, about the quiet choices we make every day that either age us or help us age with grace. And it's not about chasing youth anymore. That was never the point. It's about mature confidence, the kind that doesn't hide from the mirror but meets it with calm eyes, the kind that says, I've earned every line, but I'll protect the rest with wisdom. Because confidence doesn't come from perfect skin. It comes from knowing we can change, that it's not too late, that we're not stuck. And maybe, just maybe, the best version of ourselves is still becoming. So tonight, when you look in the mirror, remember this. It's not about looking younger, it's about looking like you, with awareness, intention, and a glow that comes from knowing better and doing better. So now you know, these 6 habits seem small, even harmless, but left unchecked, they quietly shape how we look and feel. The good news? You have the power to change them, starting tonight. Real beauty isn't about chasing perfection, it's about making smarter choices, one habit at a time. Tonight, choose one, just one. Maybe switch out that cotton pillowcase, or stop washing your face with hot water. Tiny steps, but that's how real change begins. And once you feel the difference, once your skin wakes up softer, your face feels lighter, you won't want to stop. You'll realize it's never been about products, it's been about patterns. Because every small choice you make sends a message to your body, I care. And your body listens, it responds. And suddenly, your reflection starts to match how you feel inside, stronger, calmer, more alive. So if this story stirred something in you, if you felt seen, or maybe just more aware, don't let that feeling fade. Share this with someone you care about, a friend, a sister, your mum. Let them know, aging well isn't luck. It's a series of kind decisions. And tomorrow morning, when you look in the mirror, do it with new eyes. Eyes that don't just see flaws or changes, but growth, maturity, beauty with depth. And walk away from that mirror knowing you're not aging, you're evolving.